Hey loves, welcome back. My name is Kyle August, and this is day 4 on our 14 days of love leading up to Valentine's Day to manifest your specific person. But always remember, you can use any of these videos at any point in time. It doesn't have to be specifically for manifesting for Valentine's Day. But today we're going to talk about living in the end, why it's so important, how to do it, and a few little techniques or ideas that are going to make it feel and seem so much easier. So as we know, our entire consciousness is being reflected onto our external reality. So if we are then able to feel or assume the state of exactly what we desire, we're going to see that reflected onto our external reality. So today we're going to talk about how to do that when it comes to a specific person. The main thing to remember throughout this entire process is that we don't want to wait for our specific person in order to feel a certain way. Many times throughout the whole process or throughout manifestation, we feel, okay, I'll feel into the state once I get my specific person. I'll feel good, I'll feel happy, I'll feel positive once they come into my reality. But this thinking is actually the opposite of what it actually is to manifest. We need to feel and assume the state right here and now, not at any point in the future. So when you think about whatever your end state is, feeling as if you're married to your specific person, you want to feel as if that is happening at this very moment. You don't want to imagine it happening a month in the future, a week in the future, or an hour in the future. You want it to be right now. But the same goes for the past. You don't want to be imagining a past event that's better than imagining for the future, but you want it to be at this very moment. I want you guys to allow your specific person and your subconscious mind to bring you exactly what you want without any effort or energy on your behalf. If you're allowing your specific person to pursue you, you're not going to get caught up in this idea of trying to take action or take some effort or do something in your external reality to attempt to alter or force your reality to what you want. Anytime we do that, we run into the law of reversed effort, which just means the harder you try to do something, the harder that thing actually becomes to do. But if instead we act as if it is very easy, very effortless, you allow your specific person to pursue you in the ways that they want to, in the ways that you most likely want them to, you're going to feel that ease, you're going to feel that effortlessness, and it's going to just be so much easier. I want you guys to act, a good metaphor to act from would be, I want you guys to be the flower. Right? What does a flower do? It acts beautiful. It acts loving. It's very kind and generous and giving. But who flocks to a flower? Everyone flocks to a flower to desire its beauty, to desire its kindness, to desire it and treasure it, right? We got bees, we have butterflies, we have hummingbirds. All of them flock to a flower, and it doesn't have to do anything but remain beautiful and give off that positive, loving scent. That is exactly what I want you guys to do when it comes to your manifestation. The more we resume that loving, positive, abundant state, and the more we focus on our internal state rather than anything external to us, the more progress you're going to get in a much quicker period of time. So as you are assuming that state of a flower, I want you guys also to think about your absolute end state. So right now, I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down exactly what it is that you want. So if you are just looking for a relationship with your specific person, then I would write that down. If you're just looking for a date with your specific person, then I would write that down. But always remember that you never want to limit yourself during this process. If you really are desiring to marry your specific person, but you do not feel like that is possible, then that is not something that we don't want to give in to those negative thoughts, right? If it's something you want, if you want to be married, it doesn't matter if your logical mind knows or can find a way to that outcome, your subconscious will. But the idea is whatever you ask for, your reality is going to give you. So always ask for exactly what it is that you want. So again, on that piece of paper, whatever it is in your absolute end state. I want you to write it down in as much detail as you possibly can. So think about your wedding day. What is it? Where are you on your wedding day? But you want this imaginal act to be something immediately following what you desire happening. That's what Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy would always talk about. The reason that we want it to come immediately following what we desire is because if you imagine into this state, you visualize for this, you are absolutely going to see this thing come into your reality. So in that case, we must make sure that it is implying that we already have what we desire. A couple things that you do want to remember when it comes to this visualization. You want to make sure that you are including a lot of detail. The more detail, the better. I would actually go through all 5 of your senses and think about what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, and then what you're tasting if that's the case. Maybe you're on your wedding day and you're cutting the cake, right? Or something like that. If you go through all of your 5 senses, you are going to see that it's so easy to just create or bring much more detail into that imaginative act. And the more detail that we have, the more real it's going to seem. And then the easier it is going to be to actually assume that state and feel as if what you desire is happening. Because remember, we want to feel as if that imaginative act is happening at this very moment. You're not thinking upon something that you're going to do in the future. This is something that is happening at this very moment. And if you go into your imagination and you don't instantly feel this way, that's perfectly fine. Think about other times if you've ever meditated. Sometimes you meditate and at first you're very apparent or aware of where you're at, but then you kind of get lost in your mind in assuming almost a nothingness, and after the fact you open your eyes and you're surprised to see that you are actually in your room. That has happened to me countless times, but the idea then to relate it to this visualization is that it takes some time to really see that your mind dives into this. Another thing too, you want to make sure that this mental scene is very short, and that's another thing that Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy would talk about. The longer you actually have your mental scene, the harder it is for your mind to stay on that topic. Think about your mind, think about your thoughts. How often and how easy is it for your mind to lose track, to go, you're trying to think about something and you're thinking about something else. The quote that Neville Goddard would mention is that you want to keep your mind on this singular idea, or else you'll find your mind wandering 1,000 miles away. I think he mentions something like that. You also want to do this imaginative act right before bedtime because you want to be in a drowsy or sleepy state. It's more inducive for impressing this idea onto your subconscious mind. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, okay, I know all this, right? This is something that I've already read the Neville books, already read the Joseph Murphy books. So what's new in this case? Well, the idea is that there's nothing new. This is just something we want to persist in. The more we utilize it, the easier that it is going to be to then assume the state. Because think about it. How often have we known something very abundant, very positive, and very helpful to do, and we actually find ourselves not doing it? Like, think about maybe it was a hobby you wanted to do. Maybe it was eating healthy. Maybe it was working out. We got really motivated, right? We really assumed that state, really felt like it would change our life. Or maybe you heard another idea that you're like, this is something I really want to do. It's going to make my life so much better. And then a week from then, you found yourself completely forgetting about that idea and not even doing it anymore. So the goal of the 14 days of love is, in this case, to assume or do that every single night of the week from now on. And you can even push it further past Valentine's Day if that's what you need to do. But the goal is to persist in this idea until it feels real to you. You want to also remember that your internal state is more important than anything else in your reality. The more focus we put on our internal state as compared to our external state or external reality, the easier everything's going to be, and the it's just going to feel so effortless. It's only in our focus on our external reality when we begin to have anxiety, we begin to have worry, right? All of those things start coming about as we're viewing that external reality. A way that I'm going to help you do this right here and now is to think about your imaginative act and then think about that same act happening in your external reality. Okay, you got it? So think of your imagination of being on your wedding day, and then think about actually being on your wedding day. Again, compare those two things and think about how you feel in each of those. Would you not feel the same exact way in your imagination as you would on your wedding day in your external reality if you were truly feeling it to be real? Many times we think that something in our external reality is going to be better than in our imagination, but that only pushes our mind more onto the external reality. So then if we know that our imaginative act is going to be just as good as that external event, why are we then so focused on it? Technically, in this case, your imagination is better than your external reality because you could technically, you could have more than one wedding with your specific person, but in your imagination, you could go to your wedding day every single night of the week, every single hour of the day if you truly wanted, whereas your external reality feels limited in that way. Allow yourself to be fully satisfied by that imaginative act. That's like looking into the mirror and understanding that you are what is causing the reflection in the mirror. Your consciousness is what is causing reflections in your external reality. So put the attention and everything that you do, focus it on your internal state, and you are going to see much more progress than you have ever gotten. I want you guys to think about everything that we talked about today and really allow that internal state to satisfy you, and you are going to feel so much more positive and so much more abundant. Make sure to leave a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss one of these 14 days of love leading up to Valentine's Day to manifest your specific person. If you did have any questions on this topic or idea, leave them in the comments section below, or you can send me a personal message at kyleaugustcoaching.com. That's all I got for you guys today. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.